Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Society of Madison. My name is Kelly Asprooth-Jackson. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and I am one of the ministers here. Today I am joined by the worship team of Linda Warren, Drew Collins, Stephen Gregorius, and Daniel Carnes. Thank you to all of those who are volunteering in many roles today, our greeters, ushers, hospitality providers, lay ministers, and sound technicians. And a very special thank you to the members of our Meeting House Chorus for sharing their gift of music with us today. Thank you so much. At First Unitarian Society, we question boldly, listen humbly, grow spiritually, act courageously, and love unapologetically. If you are visiting us today, welcome. We are so glad that you are here with us. If you would like more information about First Unitarian Society, please stop by the welcome table located in the Commons just through those doors and that way. For those that are connecting with us virtually today, we are very glad that you are with us as well. We hope that you'll take a moment following today's service to watch the announcement slides roll again, to learn more about upcoming programs and activities. Today, following the 11 o'clock service, we will hold our annual financial forum, which is an opportunity to learn more about the financial health of our congregation. We hope that you will join us to review our fiscal condition in relation to this year's budget and hear updates on recent changes, we hope improvements in our financial systems. A reminder that in 2 weeks, the weekend of March 22nd and 23rd, we will have only one service rather than the usual 3 that weekend. So the only service will be Sunday at 10 a.m. on March 23rd, owing to the school holiday break. And now I invite you to join me in a moment of silence to center ourselves and bring ourselves fully into this time as we join together once again in community.
Because the tides are rising, so must we.
Rise to this moment, rise to this day, rise to this life, this place in the web that is yours, that is ours.
Rise, because the earth remains our only home, and we, fellow travelers, its only hope for healing, wholeness, salvation.
Rise. Before the mystery, before the Big Bang that started it all, that this infinite universe still takes notice of us, still feels the in and out of our breath, still holds us, connects us.
Rise, or surrender with gratitude for this beauty, this chance to be a part of it all, to give back, to weave life past, present, future, everywhere, always as one.
Come, let us worship together. And now I invite you to rise in all the ways that we do, and to join me in the words of aspiration for the kindling of our chalice flame. With faith to face our challenges, with love that casts out fear, with hope to trust tomorrow, we accept this day as the gift it is, a reason for our choice. And now I invite you to turn to those around you and greet each other with signs of love and peace.
And now we should sing our opening hymn, which is on your screen. Can you see it? Well, this may be a solo for me then. That's fine. It is called We Will Rise Together. It was written for the weekend of Climate Justice Revival Services, which is this weekend for FUS. We will rise together. I'll sing the first verse, and I'll invite you to sing after me. It's so simple, you may not even need the screen. We will rise together, you and I, rise together hand in hand. Come on, we will rise together, heads held high. We will reach the promised land. Come, my friend, we see a brighter day where freedom rings for everyone. Come along and we will find the way to justice rising like the sun. Let's sing that together. We will rise together, you and I, rise together hand in hand. Come on, we will rise together, heads held high. We will reach the promised land. Come, my friend, I see a brighter day where freedom rings for everyone. Come along, and we will find a way to justice rising like the sun. We will dance together. We will dance together, you and I, dance together hand in hand. Come on, we will dance together, heads held high. We will reach the promised land. Come, my friend, I see a brighter day when freedom rings for everyone. Come along and we will find a way to justice rising like the sun. We will sing together. We will sing together, you and I, sing together hand in hand. Come, we will sing together, heads held high. We will reach the promised land. Come, my friend, I see a brighter day where freedom rings for everyone. Come along and we will find a way to justice rising like the sun. We will shout together. We will shout together, you and I, shout together hand in hand. Come on, we will shout together, heads held high. We will reach the promised land. Come, my friend, I see a brighter day where freedom rings for everyone. Come along and we will find a way to justice rising like the sun.
All right, well, I would like to call forward now anyone who wants to come up and join me for a story today. Good morning. Hello. You had a short trip. Good to see you. Good morning. Come on down, find a place. Hello. Today I have a story for you that is by Kobe Yamada and Bay Messam, and it is called What Do You Do with a problem? That is the title of our story today. Have any of you ever had a problem before? Yeah. And second question, if you have, did you ever have a problem that you didn't know what to do with it? No? That's a less familiar. Well, maybe this will be a good source of counsel for the future for yourself. If you haven't had a problem that you don't know what to do about it yet, perhaps this will be useful later in life. File it away. So, here we start the story. I don't know how it happened, but one day I had a problem. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. I really didn't like having a problem, but it was there. See? This story, the problem appears as sort of a storm cloud. Why is it here? What does it want? What do you do with the problem, I thought. I wanted to make it go away. I shooed it, I scowled at it, I tried ignoring it, but nothing worked. And you see, the problem is getting bigger. Oh. I started to worry about my problem. What if it swallows me up? Oh, no. He's worrying. You think he's worrying too much? So what if my problem sneaks up and gets me? I like this one because the problem is doing a terrible job of hiding. What if it takes away all of my things? Does anybody else worry about their things? Yeah? They might have too many things. That might be part of the problem. That could be. I worried a lot. I worried about what would happen. I worried about what could happen. I worried about this, and I worried about that. He does look worried, doesn't he? Yeah, he does look worried. And the more I worried, the bigger the problem became. See, you're right. Yeah, look how big the problem is now. I wished it would just disappear. I tried everything I could to hide from it. I even found ways to disguise myself, but it still found me. Hiding didn't work. I think the idea is that he is wearing like an animal suit. But it's not a very good disguise, is it? That's why the problem probably found him. And the more I avoided my problem, the more I saw it everywhere. I thought about it all the time. I didn't feel good at all. Now, in this picture, something very particular is happening. Our character has an umbrella that has been blown inside out by the wind. Has anybody ever had that happen to you before? Isn't it frustrating? Yeah. It's raining in the picture, you're right. I couldn't take it anymore. This has to stop, I declared. Maybe I was making my problem bigger and scarier than it actually was. After all, my problem hadn't really swallowed me up or attacked me. See, now he's making some plans, right? Okay. I realized that I had to face it. Oh. Things are serious because there's a welding mask involved now. So even though I didn't want to, even though I was really afraid, I got ready and I tackled my problem. So I spent a while looking at this picture because I couldn't really figure out what was going on. Here's what I think is going on. Our character has built a catapult out of toys and has used it to slingshot himself toward the problem. When I got face to face with it, I discovered something. My problem wasn't what I thought it was. I discovered that it had something beautiful inside. There's something beautiful inside that problem. My problem held an opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to learn and to grow, to be brave and to do something. It showed me that it was important to look closely because some opportunities only come once. So now I see problems differently. I am not afraid of them anymore because I know their secrets. Yeah, suddenly there are late appearing woodland friends in this book. I noticed that too. I was like, it's nice that he has friends, but I don't know where they came from. Yeah. They were a little bit in the background, but now they're like in the foreground for the first time. Every problem has an opportunity for something good. You just have to look for it. Perhaps part of the message is that approaching our problems as opportunities is a good way to make friends, which I would agree with. A very tiny boat there at the end, yes. Possibly part of the opportunity, yes. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for listening to my story, and now we are going to sing you to your classes.
I invite you to rise in body and/or in spirit so we can sing together the hymn number 163 in the gray hymnal, if you're using hymnals, number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning. Our inspiration today comes from the ecofeminist author Susan Griffin. Because we know ourselves to be made from this earth, see this grass, the patches of silver and brown worn by the wind, the grass reflecting all that lives in the soil, the light, the grass kneading the soil with roots deep in the earth and patches of silver like the patches of silver in our hair, worn by time. This bird flying low over the grass, over the tools, the cattails, sedges, rushes, reeds, over the marsh, because we know ourselves to be made from this earth, temporary as this grass, wet as this mud, ourselves filled with water like the mud of this swamp, heather growing here because of the damp, sphagnum moss floating on the surface, on the water standing in these pools, places where the river washes out, where the earth was shaped by the flow of lava or the slow movements of glaciers. Because we know ourselves to be made from this earth and shaped like the earth by what has gone before, the lives of our mothers. We know ourselves to be made from this earth. We know this earth is made from our bodies, for we see ourselves, and we are nature. We are nature seeing nature. We are nature with a concept of nature.
nature weeping, nature speaking of nature to nature. The red-winged blackbird flies in us, in our inner sight. We see the arc of her flight. We measure the ellipse. We predict its climax. We are amazed. We are moved. We fly. We watch her wings negotiate the wind, the substance of the air, its elements, and the elements of those elements, and count those elements found in other beings. The sea urchin's sting, ink, this paper, our bones, the flesh of our tongues with which we make the sound, blackbird, the ears with which we hear, the eyes which travel the arc of her flight. And yet, the blackbird does not fly in us, but is somewhere else, free of our minds, and now even free of our sight, flying in the path of her own will. According to the mythology of ancient Greece, Cassandra was a princess of the city of Troy and a very beautiful woman. That seems to be the starting point for most women characters in ancient Greek stories, actually. The possibilities for women to distinguish themselves in Greek society were rather limited. Cassandra was so beautiful that Apollo, the god of the sun, of music, and of prophecy, sought her as a lover. To win her affections, he blessed her with the gift to see future events before they happened. In most versions of the story, Cassandra initially accepted this gift and the amorous proposal behind it, but she had a change of heart. And if this story had taken place in a context that valued sexual consent, that would have been the end of the story. Remember, one of the essential elements of consent is that it is reversible. If you cannot change your mind, you are not free. The ancient Greeks were noted, however, for their for their principled progressive stance on sexual consent, least of all their gods. Apollo was angry and bitter at having his advances rejected, and all the more so because under the terms of the mystical gift that he had given Cassandra, he could not take it back from her. So instead, he cursed her. Though she would be able to see the future, no one would believe her predictions. Perhaps you can imagine how frustrating that would be, to live with that condition, knowing what is going to happen, but unable to convince anyone to act on your advice. Keep in mind here the very narrow possibilities for women in Greek society to impact events. Even a princess like Cassandra had to rely mainly on influencing others, and now she literally could not do that. The situation became especially dire when her brother, Paris, returned from a trip to Sparta with his newly kidnapped wife, Helen. Helen had been married to the king of Sparta, but she was so beautiful that Paris decided he had to have her for his own, no matter the consequences. Again, the gender politics of ancient Greece were no good. There was virtually no agency or respect for the rights of women at any level of society, and their mythology should not be used as a model for healthy relationships or consent. I want to be clear about this. I want to teach the wrong lesson with this story. But Paris's abduction of Helen would spark the Trojan War, the decades-long conflict that would eventually destroy the entire city. Cassandra could see this, but her warnings went unheeded. It's said that she became so desperate that when she first saw Helen, she attacked her fruitlessly. No one would listen. There was nothing she could do to avert disaster. Finally, on the last day of the war, the Spartan and other Greek forces appeared to surrender and withdraw. They left behind a great wooden horse which the people of Troy took as a gift to symbolize the end of the conflict. They brought it inside the gates and paraded it through the city, celebrating the victory that they thought they'd won. All along, Greek soldiers were hiding inside of the horse, waiting for night so that they could spring out, open the gates from within, and allow the rest of the Greek army to overwhelm Troy. Cassandra foresaw all of this. She shouted in anger and fear at the incredible danger the horse posed. She begged to have it taken back outside the city and burned, but no one listened, and Troy fell. The intention of my message to you today is to talk with you about the global climate crisis and to encourage us all to commit or recommit to engaging our energy and our imaginations in the work of building a sustainable future for our planet and everyone on it. It is intended to be about fostering hope and channeling that hope into energy for work. And in order to get to hope, we have to start with grief and the feeling of powerlessness that comes with any profound loss. How we face those things honestly. If the climatic upheaval of our age matters to you at all, if it is something that you worry about daily, or even just something that's bothered you before once reading an article or watching a particular documentary, but which you have since tried to push out of your head, you may feel some resonance with the story of Cassandra. She could see the danger clearly, but no one would listen to her warnings. It can be easy to feel the same way about the climate crisis and about a number of other massive, ongoing injustices in our world, I might add. So let's just get this part out of the way. The global climate upheaval brought on by the burning of fossil fuels, coal, oil, natural gas, over the last century plus cannot be ignored. There is no vast tree hugger conspiracy at work doctoring mountains of evidence all across the planet. Just over a decade ago, Richard Primack of Boston University published a book called Walden Warming, based on research conducted by him and his students at the woods around Walden Pond, where the famous Unitarian author and naturalist Henry David Thoreau established his quasi-hermitage. Primack's work used the study that Thoreau made of his environment to show that each year flowers are blossoming and birds are appearing earlier and earlier than they did 150 years previously in Thoreau's day. The climate is changing. The water levels are rising. Our weather systems are becoming more dangerous and less predictable. These circumstances, the present state of our world, can be very hard to take. With increasing regularity, visceral images of climate change make the rounds on social media or in the mainstream press. Sad and sickly images of starving polar bears, footage of walruses overcrowded onto a steep cliff by the fading of their natural habitat, toppling over that cliff to their doom below. And while animal videos, even ghastly ones, are the stock and trade of the internet, the human toll of the global crisis is no less heartbreaking. If you saw any of the images of the catastrophic wildfires in Los Angeles earlier this year, then this may be weighing on your mind, as it is on mine. Our world is changing, and in ways that make it harder for life as we know it to flourish and grow. Breathe with me as we hold the weight of that statement together for a moment. It is not pleasant or comforting. It is simply true. And that truth is worthy of our grief. So now, here is the hope that I promised. not something to ignore or dismiss the reality of the loss of the world before, but to come alongside it the way that a friend does for another friend in their hour of need. Dr. Robin Wall Kimmerer, botanist, professor, and enrolled citizen of the Potawatomi Nation, observed in her now very famous book, Braiding Sweetgrass, that all flourishing is mutual. As one example of this, she describes mycorrhizae, the symbiotic relationships formed between various fungi and the root systems of trees. Through such relationships, the individual trees of a forest form a larger whole, sharing carbohydrates with each other, among other qualities and benefits. As she puts it, they weave a web of reciprocity, of giving and taking. In this way, the trees all act as one because the fungi have connected them. Extrapolating further from this and other natural patterns like it, she warns, we make a grave error if we try to separate individual well-being from the health of the whole. Sometimes, when we speak with reverence for nature, as we often do in our tradition, the tone that we use can be sentimental and even saccharine. Fixating on a postcard image like a sunset or a nest full of baby chicks, and ignoring all of the struggle, all of the suffering, all of the death that is inherent in the natural world, of which we are each a part. And to rightly challenge that reductive perspective, the pendulum sometimes swings to the other extreme, to voices arguing that there can be no moral lesson or spiritual insight drawn from an honest examination of life on earth, because it is so inherently violent, so much a war of all against all. From the tiniest microbe being consumed by bacteria to the gray wolf's muzzle reddened by the blood of the innocent fawn. But this, too, is an error, a flattening that denies us the wisdom of the earth. All beings on the earth are not inherently at peace with each other. Life feeds on life. But all flourishing is mutual. Living things thrive in relationship with each other. There is no environmental order in which one single sort of being may grow in health perpetually to the detriment of every other living thing around them. The fires and floods, diseases and droughts of the Anthropocene, this era of our planetary history now defined by human choices, these calamities are just us finding this truth out once again as a species. We cannot make it alone indefinitely, cannot thrive at the expense of every other living thing. All flourishing is mutual. This is a crucial lesson of the earth itself, perhaps the most important one for us to collectively recognize and accept in this age. Our sacred planetary home, in its benign indifference to both our wisdom and our folly, continues to teach that lesson. In the blood and the death, as much as in the songbirds and the sunsets, we need to trust the earth and its lesson to us. All flourishing is mutual. If we would wish for humankind to flourish, we must find ways to do so in relationship with the rest of the living world. We cannot persist thinking only of ourselves as a species, just as we cannot hope to bring about a finer world by persisting in isolation from each other. Environmental philosopher Glenn Ulbricht coined the term symbiophilia. This intentionally builds on a more established concept of biophilia, love of life, the sort of deep impulse of care and protection towards living things that our theological ancestor Albert Schweitzer referred to as a reverence for life. But symbiophilia means not a love of living things, but a love of living together, an appreciation of and even reverence for the innately interconnected quality of being alive. Grief at the state of the world is a fair and understandable emotional response to the thwarted impulse of biophilia, anguish at the suffering of human beings and other living things. The way through this is to cultivate symbiophilia alongside it, to revere life, but also to revere the privilege of getting to share in living together, to practice gratitude and wonder towards our own interdependence. Our hope is in that interdependence. It is the answer to despair and to the feeling of powerlessness. Since no one of us can survive cut off from the whole, alone and unto ourselves, we should stop trying to. It does not matter if what I can do by myself is not enough. It was never going to be enough, definitionally. Practicing mutual flourishing, being guided by it as a principle, that is the only and the sufficient course of action. Aisha Siddiqa, a Pakistani-American activist, poet, and storyteller, has a poem that I believe speaks to the possibility in that course of action, as well as the driving joy that it opens up, irrespective of the outcomes in the short or even medium term. I commend the whole poem to you, but for now I am going to give you just the title, the first line, and the last stanza. The title. On another panel about climate, they asked me to sell the future, and all I've got is a love poem. The first line. What if the future is soft and revolution is so kind that there is no end to us in sight? The final stanza. Love is still the only revenge. It grows each time the earth is set on fire. But for what it's worth, I'd do this again, gamble on humanity 100 times over, commit to life unto life as the trees fall and take us with them. I'd follow love into extinction. Holly Higgins was a British lawyer and environmental activist who devoted much of her career to the pursuit of a lofty and imaginative goal. She worked to have a new sort of crime recognized as a crime against humanity. A crime so serious it could be prosecuted under international law. That crime is ecocide, the willful, large-scale destruction of ecological systems. As she saw it, the earth itself needed and still needs a law to protect it, one with serious consequences and legal ramifications. She believed this with such passion and fervor that she continued to work on it with the same intensity, following her diagnosis with an extremely aggressive form of cancer at an advanced stage. There is a great sorrow in her death, as there is in all death, and a specific sadness that she did not live to see her vision fulfilled. But that work continues. The organization she founded to advocate for this reframing of international law persists despite the end of her life. Her campaign marches on. Cursed by a god and imprisoned within the rigid structure of her society, Cassandra felt powerless to avert disaster, and that despair consumed her. Holly Higgins is a modern example of a woman who was faced with much the same sort of bleakness, and yet was able to find a different path, one in which she was in relationship with others. Ultimately, our best defense against the quicksand of despair is to find ways to collaborate and cooperate with each other, to practice the truth that all flourishing is mutual, to connect and share our vision of the world as it could be in order to strengthen the process of positive change so that it can outlive us all and survive our grief, no matter how deep or how real. By way of closing this reflection, I am going to invite you to join me in something that we do not do an awful lot of here, a responsive reading. The text comes from two climate activists, marine biologist Ayanna Elizabeth Johnson and architect Juana Stanescu. It is their riff on the Hippocratic Oath, an ancient ethical pledge for the practice of medicine, reimagined as an oath about living in and addressing our Anthropocene era. So in this reading, I am going to read the plain text, and I invite us all to read the italics together. Johnson and Stanescu specifically encourage their readers to take what they find useful in this model and create their version for themselves. So I am asking you to try this language on for size, to consider it, perhaps be challenged by it, and to take it home with you and to fashion your own version. If you literally do want to take the text home with you, I've placed some copies by those doors, so you can grab one on the way out. A note on one word that appears in this text. Basta appears in both Spanish and Italian and means enough. It is used in both languages as an interjection to stop whatever is happening by interrupting a conversation or commanding someone to quit whatever behavior they're doing. From my own very limited experience of Mexican Spanish, I can say that it has a larger social meaning. When you hear someone use the word basta, it means something is wrong, something bad is happening and needs to end. So with that backdrop, we will end the reflection with this reading. Again, please join me on the italics. I'm just going to see. There we go, great, yeah. So the first one is all plain text. The next one has italics in it. On the majesty of turquoise seas and fireflies and aspen trees, on the honor of our parents, our ancestors, and humans to come, on the wonders of laughter and sunshine, I make these devotions to climate solutions for my community and for our magnificent planet. First, move from I to we. We will expand our sense of interdependence. We will rein in our sense of individualism. We will ask, what should we do together? Survival is collective. Our fates are intertwined. Second, do no harm. We will restore and heal, not pollute and deplete. We will regenerate ecosystems and our own resolve. We will live lightly as part of the earth. Accountability, generosity, and sweetness. Third, less is more. We will expand our creativity and contract our consumerism. We will observe and distinguish between needing and wanting. We will be gentle with our own imperfections and others. There is such a thing as enough. Pasta. possibility exists. This is a world of our making. We can remake it, remix it, restore it, rebalance it. The path of least resistance is only one of many paths. I will be part of getting it right. We will be part of getting it right. Thank you so much for that. I invite you now into this time of giving and receiving, where we give freely and generously to this offering, which sustains and strengthens our community here and also our outreach offering recipient, who this week is 350 Madison, which mobilizes grassroots power to change hearts and minds, laws and policies, and humanity's massive systems to make transformational progress towards environmental justice and solving the climate crisis. There are multiple ways to share your gifts this morning. Baskets are now being passed here in the auditorium for cash or checks, or you can donate directly from our website, fusmadison.org, and see on the screen your text to give information as well. We thank you for your generosity and your faith in this life we create together.
We are the water, sing.
Each week we gather, carrying in our hearts the joys and losses of our days. We bring them here and share them, knowing they are held gently in care, in support, and in love. Bob Bell asks us to light a candle of joy at the birth of first great-grandchild Felix, born to Dylan and Allie in February. We join the Bell family in celebrating this new life, this new possibility, which now blesses the world. And we light a candle of gratitude for the life and grief for the death of Lewis Crocker, who died on March 2nd. Lou was a veteran of the Vietnam War and served in the U.S. Army and National Guard for a combined 30 years. He was awarded several honors during his service, including the Bronze Star. His greatest accomplishments, however, were his 55 years of marriage to wife Lucille and his fatherhood of daughters Kimberly and our own Kelly Crocker. Our hearts go out to them, to grandchildren Annie, Sam, and Owen, and to all who knew and loved Lou. And we light a candle for all that lives in our hearts, the joys, the losses, the sorrow and celebration, and for the love that remains through it all, a love that heals, transforms, holds on, and a love that lives always within, among, and beyond us. I invite you now to turn with me to an attitude of meditation and of prayer with these words from Nicholas de Augusto. Nature is only ever at work. Take stock of the world around you, constantly in movement, each action suited to its end. Fire, with its ferocity and voracity, devours, ignites, it roars its presence and illumines the front. From it, people recoil. It singes and scars, but it also clears space. Some of us must act like fire. Water, with its elegant, erosive powers, steady in the flow of its work, with direction, sustainability. A river is what nourishes and carves, not a typhoon which destroys indiscriminately, recedes, and leaves the people in drought. Some of us must act like water. Earth, with its food to eat and generative soil, its many forms of living companions to comfort us in times of solitude and loss. Earth rejuvenates and holds us. Some of us must act like earth. Air, so integral to all of us, we must remind ourselves to notice our breath. Not one of us lives without it. Not one of us is untouched by it. It cannot help but give and forgive. Single-minded, it knows everything as one. Some of us must act like air. May we each model in our natures the best in nature, eternally changing, knowing only movement, and an urge to create life. Amen, and blessed be.
You to rise in body and/or in spirit so we can sing together as our closing hymn, one of our favorites, number 1064 in the Teal Hymnal, 1064, Blue Boat Home.
Standing on his mountain
knowing how quickly the flame of truth may be extinguished, how easily the chalice of fellowship broken, let us be vigilant in faith, keep peace in our hearts, and make care for one another the watchword of our lives together. So our light goes out everywhere into the world. Our light goes out everywhere healing and hope are needed. Let us go in peace to love and serve this world and one another. Blessed be, go in peace, and please be at rest for the post.